Krishna devotees, please accept my humble obeisances. All goes to Guru Maharaj and Sri Prabhupada. Santati Mataji, when you're ready, we can start Mataji.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada and Guru Maharaj. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Cheva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Udirayet Nashtaprayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavate Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Nashtiki. Today we are reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 10, Chapter 61, Lord Balram slays Rukmini, verse 20 to 21 to 40. Text 21. Mystic yogis can perfectly see that which has not yet happened, as well as things in the past or present, beyond the senses, remote or blocked by physical obstacles. Text 22. Sri Sukdev Goswami said, at her Swayamvara ceremony, Rukmavati herself chose Pradyumna, who was the re-embodiment of Cupid. Then, although he fought alone on a single chariot, Pradyumna defeated the assembled kings in the battle and took her away. Text 23. Though Rukmi always remembered his uh, enmity toward Lord Krishna, who had insulted him, in order to please his sister, he sanctioned his daughter's marriage to his nephew. Text 24. O King Bali, the king of Kratavarma, married Rukmini's daughter, last Charumati. Text 25. Rukmi gave his granddaughter Rochna to his daughter's son Anirudh. Despite Rukmi's relentless feud with Lord Hari, although Rukmi considered this marriage irreligious, he wanted to please his sister, bound as he was by the ropes of affection. Text 26. On the joyous occasion of that marriage, O King, Queen Rukmini, Lord Balram, Lord Krishna, and several of the Lord's sons, headed by Samba and Pradyuman, went to the city of Bhojakta. Then text 27-28. After the wedding, a group of arrogant kings headed by the kings of Kalinga told Rukmi, you should defeat Balram at dice. He is not expert at dice, O king, but still he is quite addicted to it. Thus advised, Rukmi challenged Balram and began a gambling match with him. Text 29. In that match, Lord Balram first accepted a wager of 100 coins, then 1,000, then 10,000. Rukmi won this first round, and the king of Kalinga laughed loudly at Lord Balram, showing all his teeth. Lord Balram could not tolerate this. Text 30. Next, Rukmi accepted a bet of 100,000 coins, which Lord Balram won. But Rukmi tried to cheat, declaring, I am the winner. Text 31. Shaking with anger like the ocean on the full moon day, handsome Lord Balram, his naturally reddish eyes even redder in his fury, accepted a wager of 100 million gold coins. Text 32. Lord Balram fairly won this wager also, but Rukmi again resorted to cheating and declared, I have won. Let these witnesses here say what they saw. Text 33. Just then, a voice from the sky declared, Balram has fairly won this wager. Rukmi is surely lying. Text 34. Urged on by the wicked kings, Rukmi ignored the divine voice. In fact, destiny itself was urging Rukmi on, and thus he ridiculed Lord Balram as follows. Text 35. Rukmi said, O you cowherds who wander about the forest know nothing about dice. Playing with dice and supporting with arrows are only for kings, not for the likes you of you. Text 36. Thus, insulted by Rukmi and ridiculed by the kings, Lord Balram was provoked to anger. In the midst of the auspicious wedding assembly, he raised his club and struck Rukmi dead. Text 37. The king of Kalinga, who had laughed at Lord Balram and shown his teeth, tried to run away, but the furious Lord quickly seized him on his 10th step and knocked out all his teeth. Text 38. Tormented by Lord Balram's club, the other kings fled in fear, their arms, thighs, and head broken and their bodies drenched in blood. Text 39. When his brother in law Rukmi was slain, Lord Krishna neither applauded nor protested, O king, for he feared jeopardizing his affectionate ties with either Rukmini or Balram. Text 40. Then the descendants of the Dasharha, headed by Lord Balram, seated Anirudh and his bride on a fine chariot and set off from Bhojakta from Dwarka, having taken shelter of Lord Madhusudana. They had fulfilled all their purposes. Thus, end of Bhaktivedanta purport of Canto 10, Chapter 61, Lord Balram slays. Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Yeah, thank you so much, Santati Mataji, for reading the translations today. Hare Krishna. So I'll offer brief prayers and then we'll continue. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Gnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmiritam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Nama Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshutarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadara Sri Vasadi Gaura Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Thank you all the devotees for joining today for our Srimad Bhagavatam discussion. The chapter is titled Lord Balarama Slays Rukmi. This is the 10th canto, 61st chapter. Yesterday we heard from His Grace Sri Krishna Prabhu about all the sons and grandsons of Lord Krishna, how Lord Krishna spent time with his wives who were the queens in Dwaraka, and how uh, the queens of Krishna personally served Lord Krishna instead of asking maidservants only to serve. They wanted to take association of Krishna and how they personally served Krishna. All that we heard yesterday. And toward the end of the discussion yesterday, we heard in the 19th and 20th verses how the 20th verse specifically, Parishad Maharaj asked a question. The question, why did he ask a question? Because in the 18th verse, uh, Srila Sukadeva Goswami described to Parishad Maharaj that Lord Krishna's grandson, Lord Krishna's son is Pradyumna with Rukmini Devi. And then that Pradyumna had a son by name Aniruddha. So the Pradyumna got fathered the great powerful Aniruddha in the womb of Rukmavati. That's what is mentioned in the 18th verse. Who is Rukmavati? She is the daughter of Rukmi. So I know lots of names, but essentially Rukmini Devi had a brother by name Rukmini. We heard in the previous chapters. So that Rukmi had a daughter called Rukmavati. So that daughter got married to Aniruddha, who is Pradyumna's son. Yeah. So, oh, actually, they're saying that Pradyumna got married to Rukmati. Sorry, am messing up names. Yeah. Okay. Basically, there's a marriage tie between Krishna's family and Rukmi's family. That is the essence to take from here. So when he heard that, Parishad Maharaj got a question. Why? Because when we remember when Krishna came to take Rukmini in marriage, that time he was fighting with all the kings and defeated all the kings. At that time, Rukmi, who is the brother of Rukmini, also fighted with Krishna. So then Krishna easily defeated him. But then when Krishna was about to kill him, Balarama and Rukmini were also there at that time. And then Rukmini requested him not to kill him. So that time, what did Krishna do? Krishna insulted him by giving a funny haircut for him to Rukmi. So now Rukmi was so ashamed with that insult given by Krishna. So, in fact, he took a vow not to visit his home place unless he defeats Krishna that time. So, he went back with that insult and was always in that enemy mindset towards Krishna. That was his disposition. Okay. But then, that is why Parikshit Maharaj is asking the question, how come there Rukmi always considered Krishna as the enemy, but then how come he gave his daughter in marriage so that they will get united with Krishna's family again? Like that, Parikshit Maharaj inquisitively inquired from Sukadeva Goswami. So now, uh, Sukadeva Goswami, before he describes, Parikshit Maharaj also says to Sukadeva Goswami that you know everything. That's why you can tell me. How is he saying that? In the 21st verse, he says, mystic yogis, they know perfectly about past, present, and future also. But you are not just a mystic yogi, you are a devotee of Krishna. And devotee of Krishna knows Krishna's will. What happened, why it happened, like that. Pure devotees will know about Krishna's inspirations, Krishna's will, like that. So that's why you can tell me perfectly because you know particulars of the Lord. Why? Because you have great bhakti. That's what Srila Jiva Goswami is describing to us. That is the reason why Parikshit Maharaj is talking about mystic yogis knows about past, present, and future like that. He is indicating that you being a great devotee, you know particulars of the Lord Krishna also because of your great bhakti like that. So now that means he doesn't have an option. I know you know already. Please tell me like that he is telling. Now in the text number 22, Sukadeva Goswami starts to answer Parikshit Maharaj's question now. So he describes that Rukmavati, who is the daughter of Rukmi, had a Swayamvara ceremony. In that Swayamvara ceremony, she personally chose Pradyumna. In the commentary, Srila Jiva Goswami describes that actually normally Swayamvara happens when bride chooses the other prince personally during the Swayamvara. In this case, what happened is already Rukmavati chose Pradyumna before. So, her father Rukmi arranged a Swayamvara so that way anybody who is inimical, anybody who doesn't have tolerance with competition, I need to get married to Rukmavati like that, they're all pacified. To do that, he made an official forum. In Swayamvara, the princess usually can choose a right husband for herself. So like that, she already chose, and then he arranged the Swayamvara so that she can formally choose husband now like that. That is what is described in Srila Jiva Goswami's commentary. And when and is described in this verse, Pradyumna was Ananga Angayuta because he is the incarnation of Cupid. Cupid means Kamadev. That was very, very beautiful. So Rukmavati chose her as her husband, like that. Chose him as her husband. So now, even though she chose the husband in the Swayamvara, this is normal in the Kshatriyas where they fight with the person who is chosen. So in this case, all the assembled kings started fighting with Pradyumna. And Pradyumna was a great warrior and is a brave also. So he fighted with them and defeated all the kings. And then he took Rukmavati away from that place as described. So our acharyas also describe there are two possibilities given here. Because in the previous verse is described they had a son. So here there one possibility is Pradyumna stayed back at Rukmi's place with Rukmavati for some time and they had a son like that. Another possibility is Pradyumna came back later on along with Rukmavati from Dwaraka back to this place like that. That's the two possibilities Acharya has described. So this is the way through Swayamvara Rukmavati got married to Pradyumna. So now, how come he got married? How come Rukmi allowed this marriage, even though Krishna is enemy? That is described in 23rd verse. Basically, even though Rukmi was inimical towards Lord Krishna, he had so much uh, affection and um, desire to please his sister Rukmini Devi. So because he wanted to please his sister Rukmini Devi, so he sanctioned his daughter's marriage, Rukmavati's marriage to Pradyumna. So now Acharyas describes, Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur describes why is this special desire to please his sister Rukmini Devi. Remember when we described in the beginning of this session, Krishna defeated Rukmi in the battle when he's taking away Rukmini, right? In the chariot. That time he was about to kill Rukmi, but Rukmini, the sister of Rukmi, saved him. Because of that gratitude that Rukmini saved him, he wanted to please sister like that. So he had that gratitude towards his sister Rukmini. So that is why he allowed this marriage to take place is described. So now text number 24. Then Kritavarma's son, his name is Bali, he married Rukmini's young daughter. Her name is Charumati. Yesterday in the session, His Grace Sri Krishna Prabhu also described how most of the names of Rukmini Devi's sons are having the word Ru, syllable Ru, or most of them have Charu, like Charudeshna, Charudeha, Sucharu, Charugupta, Bhadracharu, Charuchandra, like that, right? Charu. So similarly, Rukmini's young daughter name is also like that, Charumati. So interestingly, this daughter was married to Bali, who is the son of Kritavarma, is described. In the purport, BBT purport, Srila Sridhar Swami commentary is given, where it is given that this is an indication that not only Rukmini had one daughter and she got married, that all the other queens of Krishna, they also had a daughter, along with 10 sons that we heard yesterday. Yesterday we heard all the queens of Krishna had at least 10 sons. And then today we are hearing they also had one daughter. Sukadeva Goswami is just giving this as one sample, example like that. That's what Srila Sridhar Swami is describing here. No wonder why we heard yesterday that they are in tens of millions, Krishna's sons and grandsons and daughters and granddaughters like that. So that's what is described in the family, Yadu dynasty. Now going to text number 25. And also, not only that Rukmi allowed his daughter to get married to Krishna's son, but Rukmi also gave his granddaughter, her name is Rochana, to his daughter's son. Daughter's son is uh, Aniruddha. Aniruddha, remember Rukmavati got married to Pradyumna, they had a son by name Aniruddha. So that Aniruddha was got married to Rukmi's granddaughter by name Rochana. So again, this is another point. Even though he had enmity, that's what is described. Even though he had enmity towards Krishna, he allowed this to marriage to happen. Why again? So because of his affection for his sister Rukmini, which we heard from Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur in the previous commentary. That's because Rukmini Devi saved his life like that. Somebody may think, oh my God, he had so much affection for Rukmini. Why did he stop marriage with Krishna earlier? Like that they think, right? So that's why Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur is giving nice explanation. That because Rukmini Devi saved his life, which happened after the marriage attempt. Yeah, so that's what is described here. So now in the purport, Srila Swami's commentary is given. Same thing Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur also repeats in his commentary. There are two injunctions from Shastra I have described. One is one should not eat, one should not eat food at an enemy's place. Enemy's food one should not take, number one. And one should not feed an enemy also, like that is described. We hear a pastime where Lord Krishna came to Hastinapur. That time he had the option to eat at Duryodhana's place because Duryodhana invited him for a elaborate feast, nicely arranged feast. But Krishna said, "You don't have love for me. We should not eat at a place where somebody has no love for me, for us," like that. Number one, he said. And number two, in the same Shastra quote also refers to uh, unless it's an emergency, if we should eat at a place where somebody has love for us, or if it's an emergency like that, situation like that. Krishna says, neither you have love for me, I know that for sure, nor it's an emergency for me to eat at your place, like that he describes. So, and then we know further that he went to Vidura's place and Vidura's wife fed him with love. In fact, banana peels instead of banana, we hear the past tense. So that is indicated here also. One should not eat an enemy's food or feed his enemy. Another Shastra quote is also described in the BBT purport from Sridhar Swami commentary. It says, one should not execute religious injunctions if they will obstruct one's way towards heaven, or if they are causing, if they're not liked by general human society like that. So, interestingly, there's a contradicting thing Sri Prabhupada writes in the purport. So, basically, general dharmic principles, if they are causing a lot of inconvenience to others, we can avoid. That is one clear from this statement. However, Krishna consciousness is a higher principle. For the sake of Krishna consciousness, sometimes we want you to do things that others may not like. That's okay. That's what Sri Prabhupada is writing in the or BBT commentary. BBT purport is indicating for us. So generally we know Artha Shastra, Dharma Shastra and Bhakti Shastra. There's a hierarchy. So when we are trying to follow principles in scriptures, there is a hierarchy in principles also. And sometimes for the sake of higher principles, we might have to give up lower principles, but not otherwise, not indiscriminately, not just randomly like that. That's the principle also being shared here in the BBT purport here. So Prabhupada is saying, actually, Krishna conscious process is so wonderful. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is made it so wonderful, chanting, dancing, feasting, and hearing some philosophy. This is the way of Krishna consciousness. So everybody will like it. What is there for somebody to not like it? Like that, BBT purport is also indicating here. So, uh, so we should not stop Krishna conscious practices just because some Western people in Western countries do not like something like that is describing also. So now going to next verse, 26th verse. Now, so far, Sukadeva Goswami has described why the marriage happened, why Rukmi allowed the marriage of his daughter and also his granddaughter. Like that he described, because he wants to please his sister Rukmini. Now he further describing the pastime that is in the title of this chapter, which is Lord Balrama slays Rukmi. So he's going there. So on that joyous occasion of the marriage, what happened? Queen Rukmini, Lord Balaram, Lord Krishna, and several of Krishna's sons, headed by Samba and Pradyumna, they all went to the city of Bhojakata. Bhojakata is the city of Rukmi, where Rukmi is there. So at that place, all of these devotees went. And the devotees, Krishna and Balaram also went. So our Jiva Goswami writes in his commentary that Rukmini is mentioned first before even Krishna and Balaram. Why is that? Because Rukmini is going to her own brother's home. That's why Rukmini's name is mentioned first, like that it gives. I noticed in the Jiva Goswami commentary several times so far that he explains why the sequence is important in a certain way like that. What is the significance of the sequence of mentioning of names like that he mentions Jiva Goswami? That's what we see in this verse also like that. And then actually he describes that the people mentioned last in this, like sons headed by Samba and Pradyumna, they were given accommodation separately, not in the palace of Rukmi. That's why they mentioned last also. Srila Jiva Goswami gives the insight. Coming to 27 and 28th verse. So after the wedding was over, some of the friends of Rukmi who came from southern India, southern portion of the world. So they were described as very arrogant. And one of the head of those arrogant kings is King of Kalinga. So they suggested to Rukmi, oh, you should defeat Balaram by asking him for playing gambling match and defeat him in dice. Because he's not expert in dice game. You are expert in dice game. And he's still addicted to gambling even though he's not expert in it. So so when they advised him like that, Rukmini challenged Balram to play with him for gambling match. Sri Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur indicates Rukmini understood. He was insulted long time ago by Krishna, but he cannot defeat Krishna neither in the dice game nor by fighting with him. He cannot defeat, he understood. So that's why he chose Balaram. He thought maybe he can defeat Balaram. But he knows Balaram also he cannot defeat in the war. So he can only defeat in the dice game. So that's why he chose that to fight with Balaram in the gambling match instead of a war or instead of fighting with Krishna directly also is described. Now text number 29. So what happened in the gambling match is described in the next set of verses. Lord Balaram uh, accepted they had a gambling match, they had money also. They had 100 gold coins they were placing as a bet. And then they first match, second match 1000 gold coins, third match 10,000 gold coins. In the first round, Rukmi won, Balaram lost in the first match. And when Balaram lost like that, the king of Kalinga, uh, laughed loudly, showing his teeth also. Lord Balrama could not tolerate that, but he tolerated for the time being because that's an offense towards Balaram. Now, King Rukmi accepted bet of 100,000 coins now. They're growing 100 coins, 1000 coins, 1000 coins, then 100,000 coins like that. So, this match of 100,000 coins, Lord Balaram won this time. But Rukmi tried to cheat him, saying that I'm the winner like that. So, but Lord Balarama was angry, shaking with anger. Is described with an analogy. On the full moon day, Purnima day, the ocean goes through big waves. Like that, Lord Balarama became angry with eyes redder than the usual, like that. And then this time he still tolerated, even though he cheated, saying that I won 100,000 coin match. Now he said 100 million gold coins. Let us fight again like that. So now Lord Balarama won this bigger match again. But Rukmi again started cheating, saying that I won, I won. Let these witnesses here say what they saw like that. So Rukmi was taking support of all the king friends he got from southern India, and so that they can tell on his behalf in his cheating that Rukmi won like that. At that time, Akashavani spoke up, saying that Balarama has fairly won this wager. Rukmi is surely lying. Like that, Akashvani spoke up. Sri Jiva Goswami says, why did Akashvani speak? Because she understood these all the sinful kings who are friends of this Rukmi, they will act as witnesses. and will tell a lie. That's why Akashvani directly spoke. But even though Akashvani spoke, but these Rukmi's friends pursued Rukmi, saying that don't believe that, don't ignore that voice, doesn't matter, like that. And then, uh, actually, in this verse, Jiva Goswami describes why is Balaram referred as Sankarshana? Because as Sankarshana, Balaram is capable of destroying everything immediately, like in during the annihilation time, like that. So that's why it's described with that word Sankarshana. So in the third, fifth verse, now Rukmi not only cheated, not only lied like this, not only he disregarded Akashavani, he insults Balarama now. He says, you are cowards. That means not only is insulting Balaram, is insulting Krishna also. You cowards know how to roam around forests with the cows, but you don't know anything about the dice game because that's only for Kshatriyas. Kshatriyas know how to play dice games and how to use arrows like that. You guys don't know like that. Like that, he insulted Balaram and also Krishna this time. So now Balarama could not tolerate that. So Balarama immediately took up his weapon, club or mace, we call it, and struck Rukmi to death. So now somebody may think, oh, why is Balaram so angry? With some cheating, some insult, small insult is killing him. Is it a appropriate punishment or a misproportionate punishment? Somebody may think. But His Grace Chaitanya Charan Prabhu describes in his class that sometimes we may see one immediate action and another immediate action and think, oh, this is not justified, we may think. But in this case, Balram's punishment is appropriate. Why? Balram's punishment is not for one immediate action. Balram's punishment is for all the previous actions he has done, including Rukmi siding with religious people, Rukmi is engaging in religious behavior, cheating several times, and now finally insulting both Balram and Krishna. So it's a fruit of previous actions, not just one action. That's why it's appropriate punishment. Like that, this great Chaitanya Charan Prabhu describes. And our Acharyas also describes Balrama had the patience, but in this case, he exercised his anger to punish this Rukmi like that appropriately. Another thing His Grace Chaitanya Charan Prabhu describes in this scenario for us a lesson to learn is sometimes we might not know the working of karma. Working of karma is like that. Like we may do a small mistake, but we get a big punishment readily. So the way we need to understand that is it's a accumulation of several small mistakes that we might have done that is causing this big reaction like that. So it's not we cannot see as a one action leading to one reaction. One reaction may be a culmination of several actions that we might have done. That's the way to see the karmic influence also, His Great Chaitanya Chariprabhu describes. Now, in the last few verses, in the 37th verse, so Balaram killed Rukmi now. Now, remember in the previous instance, King of Kalinga laughed loudly, showing his teeth to Balaram when Balaram was lost the war first time. So now Balaram takes care of him. Balaram runs after him, and King of Kalinga runs about 10 steps, but Balaram catches him and he makes sure all the teeth are gone, whatever teeth he showed with laughing like that. And then not only that, all the other friends who supported in cheating Rukmi, Balarama gives, uh, uh, he breaks his arms, breaks his thigh, breaks their thighs, and breaks their heads like that is described while they're trying to run in fear. Now, here again, Srila Jiva Goswami in his commentary describes the sequence. Why arms are mentioned first, thighs are mentioned next, and the head is mentioned next, like that sequence. Because this is a degree of serious injury, more serious injury, more serious injury, like that. That's why they're described in that order. Srila Jiva Goswami describes in his commentary. Now, in 39th verse, when his brother-in-law Rukmini was slain, Krishna kept silent. He neither said, Balram, good job, he deserves it. He didn't say that. Nor he did not say, "Oh, why did you do that, Balaram? He should not have been killed like that." Why is described? Because if he supports Balaram saying that good job, Rukmini will feel bad. If he supports saying that Balaram, why did you do this? Is not good, Rukmini may feel good, but Balaram will feel bad. So he didn't want to neither hurt Rukmini nor hurt Balaram. That is one explanation given by Acharyas. Another explanation Srila Jiva Goswami gives is Krishna did not want relationship between Rukmini and Balaram to get affected by his speaking something like that. So because if he speaks something, it will support either Rukmini or Balaram. So their relationship might get affected. So that to protect their relationship, Krishna didn't speak, it is described. Of course, from here the lesson for us also is how to practice the austerity of speech. We hear from Bhagavad Gita 17:15. So we need to speak carefully, that is in a pleasing way, in a beneficial way, in non-agitating way, like that, and truthful way. We hear about these principles that Lord Krishna personally shares for us. So, beneficial way, we need to make sure our speech is beneficial. That means sometimes we might have to be silent to make sure our relationship is okay. The immediate winning in a speaking, by speaking something, winning in that immediate moment is not important sometimes. Sometimes for the relationship, we might have to be silent. Sometimes for a higher cause, we might have to be silent. Sometimes as a service, we might have to be silent. So we need to carefully utilize our speech in a service of Krishna like that. The last verse for today, text number 40. Then is described that led by Balarama, all the Krishna, Rukmini Devi, Aniruddha and his wife, newly married wife, everybody went in a chariot from Bojakata to back to Dwaraka. So, having taken shelter of Lord Madhusudana, they have fulfilled all their purposes, is described. Why is Krishna referred as Madhusudana? Our Srila Jiva Goswami comments again. He says, Krishna killed Madhu demon cleverly. Like that, Balarama killing of Rukmi is approved by Krishna. That's what is indicated by the word Madhusudana here, as described by Srila Jiva Goswami. So we'll continue next chapter. Next chapter is very famous. Is marriage of Usha and Aniruddha is played like a drama in many Radhyatras also. So we'll hear more in the coming days from tomorrow's session. We'll pause here. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Vanchakalpatarubhyasya kupasindubhyevacha patitana pavanebhyo vaishnavibhyo namo namaha. Thank you so much, devotees. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you.
Hare Krishna.